Greetings and blessings to all of you. I am Alsharon of the GodStar, in service to Source, to this planet, and to every star seed upon planet Earth. Many blessings to all of you on this day. Over the course of the time that I have been coming in, we have been discussing and speaking about many different things. So today I wanted to focus on something that's very, very vitally important. This is on the path that you walk. You see, from our perspective, we are less inclined to be concerned what your physical job might be. What we are more apt to guide you on is for you to discover within your own self and within your own heart, within the framework of your incarnation in your life, that which you are most passionate about, that which you are most connected with, and then to take whatever steps that are required and that you need to in order to live and work within the framework of your passion. And there's a reason for this. There are times when, in a previous incarnation, your passion was, say, art. And you were an artist and you created huge masterpieces. And perhaps one of these masterpieces from you in a previous incarnation today hangs in Italy or in France or wherever it may be. In that incarnation, that was your passion. Now, that does not mean that in this incarnation, art is going to be your passion. It was your passion in that incarnation because it had to do with the reason you were incarnated upon this world. So by finding your passion and really being open to that, that will actually assist you in connecting more fully with who you truly are. It will assist you in connecting more fully with your true home, your true energy. Finding your passion is vitally important. Now, another thing that I wish to speak about with regards to this, which is vitally important, and I need all of you to hear me and listen to me very carefully. Some of you that will listen to this message will say, "Oh, well, I'm in my mid-60s. There is no point in me trying to follow my passion. It's too late. Maybe next time." We hear this many, many times from many, many different ones incarnated on this planet. And I'm going to tell you straight now, it does not matter when you start. It really doesn't. Now, if you are in your mid-60s and your passion is to be a sprinter, you may have some difficulty there. However, sometimes the passion, you might be very passionate, let's say, hypothetically here, you are extremely passionate about being an astronaut. But you've never been to university. You do not have science degrees and things like that. So you don't have the means, shall we say, to be an astronaut. But then, is being an astronaut the only thing that you could do around that topic? And the answer is no. You could write about space. You could learn about astronomy. You could learn about all sorts of things. And you could find your own niche, because what happens is when you are guided to something like this, there is a reason for it. And so one of the very frustrating things for us on this side of the veil, from you on the other side of the veil, is when we are presenting this to you and we're giving you this information, and then you're like, oh, I can't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. And you don't even try. And then you have the other scenario, which is also very, very annoying and aggravating. You see, I may be in the fifth dimension, but that does not mean that I do not get annoyed or aggravated by things. My reality is very different from the reality here. But I can assure you that we are closer together than you may think. The other really disturbing aspect to this is you have an individual and they're like, this is my passion. This is what I really want to do. I know it. I feel it. I can feel it with every bone in my body. But my partner wouldn't allow it. Or I have to focus on taking care of this person or taking care of that person. It's my responsibility. So everything that is my passion, everything that I am being guided to do, I must put on a shelf. I can't do it. You look within your heart and you say, is this the right thing? No, it's not the right thing. Oh, well, I must do it anyway. You are going against your own heart. You are going against what Spirit is guiding you to do. It is about taking that courage that is within you. And I hear some of you right now saying, "Oh, I'm not very courageous. I don't really, I'm very nervous. I'd be very nervous about doing this, and I wouldn't be able to step up and say this, or I wouldn't be able to step up and do that." Yes, you would. You wouldn't be guided to do something, and you go within your heart and you check it out and you see if it resonates, see if it speaks to you, and it does, and it resonates, and you know it's the right thing, you know it's the right path, and you say no. Have you ever thought for a moment that if it was the wrong time, for you to do this, Spirit more than likely would not have given you that inspiration? It is true, sometimes you are given an inspiration. You are given that crumb. You are given that information to do something. And it's to push you into that mode, to push you into that lane, to begin to prepare to walk that path. Everything happens in divine time, divine order, divine rightness. It doesn't happen by your time. And I'll share a little secret with you. There are times that those of us up here wish that it would come a little quicker as well. You have to understand, our conversations that I have with you is geared towards one thing. It's geared towards assisting you to step into your own divinity, your own sacredness, and to walk the path you're here to walk. The vital key of trust and faith in yourself, for yourself, that is the starting point for this journey. You'd be surprised how many individuals are out there putting themselves out there as high spiritual teachers and channelers, healers, readers, all sorts of things. And they don't believe it themselves. They don't believe that they're worthy. They don't believe in who they are and who they present themselves to be. Remember, from my vantage point, we see all of this. We acknowledge it and we see it. And it's not that they are not following their passion. They just lack that belief in themselves. And if they would focus on the belief in self, what they would achieve would be more in alignment with their purpose on this planet. The vital key here is we cannot do it for you. We cannot interfere. We cannot come here and give you a piece of information directly many times, because that would be classified as being interfering in your incarnation, in your choices, because this planet is complete free will choice. If you are in a bad relationship, as an example, and you say to yourself, you know what? I deserve better. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And you extract yourself from that relationship, you are taking ownership for who you are. You are honoring yourself. Now, if you are in the exact same relationship and you say, well, I can't leave. I don't have enough money. I can't do it for this reason or for that reason or for that reason. You're dishonoring yourself. Now, if you will notice, in the scenario that I just used, you're in a relationship, an abusive relationship with someone. They are being abusive towards you. Did you notice that I put no responsibility on this on them? And the reason I didn't is very simple. The only person responsible for your path and how you walk it is you. You will be challenged. You will be coerced. You will be told you're wrong. Let's see how much belief you will have in yourself. Are you willing to truly step into your own power and divinity? Are you willing to really step into who you are meant to be here? You see, I am not suggesting that you end a relationship. What I'm trying to infuse into you is about discerning within your heart. There are individuals all over this world who are beginning to realize a little bit by little bit every day that they are in fact worthy. that they are in fact worth something more. That they are in fact can choose the way they wish to choose. The more that you do this, the more that that energy goes into the collective unconsciousness. The more that that energy moves into the collective unconsciousness, the more that people around this world can draw inspiration from that energy. They may not know that it is because of you they have received that inspiration, but because of you and because of people like you, that energy, that inspiration has been placed into the collective unconsciousness, just waiting for that young man or that young woman somewhere else in the world to make a choice which accesses that energy and provides that inspiration, which then begins a process of changing their entire life. You see, you have to understand something. Each one of you has this mentality. I must be of service. I must be here to help people. Just by living your life from your heart and following your heart and guidance and discerning, having trust and faith in yourself, for yourself. All of these little things that we have been telling you for all of this time now. Just by doing that, you are changing this world in a fundamental way. You see, here's the deal. If you have a question, please start typing them in. Here's the deal. Listen very carefully. We have so much love and admiration for each one of you. We honor you so much. We love you so much that we ensure that we are able to come in and speak to you and share these messages with you. Because we know how sacred and divine each one of you are. We know just how powerful each one of you is. You sit there and you think, I cannot be that important. What I do doesn't really make a difference in this world. I don't see it. But in reality, every time you overcome a challenge, every time you have the courage to face a fear and do it anyway, every time you have the ability to brighten someone's day, perhaps with a smile or a kind word, you literally are changing this world. You are, in truth, touching hearts. I want you to think about something very carefully. You look at this spirituality movement with people like this one here who channels and does readings and healings and things like this. The people who do this work, are they out there doing this for the humanity of Earth? In truth, there are a few here and there who are part of the humanity of Earth, or what you would term the native human population, who are investigating in these areas, who are learning about channeling and healings and things like this. But for the most part, the people out there who is doing this work, it is done for other starseeds in an effort to assist you to walk the path that you are here to walk, to remind you that you are divine, that you are sacred, to remind you that there is so much more to you than meets the eye. So my point to this is very simple. Not only do you have our support, not only do you have our guidance, not only do you have our assistance, and then we are also able to come through, as I get to come through this one, and speak to you and give you guidance and answer some questions and do these sorts of things for you. And then you have people like him, who is the same as us on the physical side, here to assist you, to give you love, guidance, support. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Be very mindful of that. And now I will take questions. Angie, you have a passion for photography and, of course, guiding others to also find their passions and truths and abilities, healing and trusting themselves. And this is something, and you've been pondering this for some time. Perhaps it is time for you simply to discern and do. Deidre, what if you're in your late 60s and just don't know what your passion is? What's the point? The point is that whether you are in your 30s or in your late 60s, you are still here. Now, if you find yourself in that situation, I have a recommendation, if you will. If you are older and you, like Deidre, are like, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know what drives me, what I would really want to follow and find and discover. I would recommend that you reflect back on your life to when you were young. Ask yourself a question. What was I passionate about at the age of 18, 20, 25, 30? For many people, they have passions, they have dreams and ideas when they are a teenager, and then they end up getting married and having children and having a family, and then all of that gets put onto the back burner, and then you simply live life. And you finally get to a point where you don't remember what those passions and dreams were. They're covered over with mothballs and spider webs and just dust. So reflect back. and discover what has always been there. I believe, Deidre, that if you do that, you may be surprised at what you discover. Christine, you are starting to have fear about not filling your class in a couple of weeks. How can you stay in your heart space and trust it will work? Let me give you an example. When he does a BlueStar healing workshop, he wants to have a minimum of 8 people. Eight people. It's not a lot. In his workshop coming up very soon, he's got 18 people in it. But he has had experiences where he has started advertising a workshop 2 months out. He simply wants 8 people. It's a nice, even number. Two weeks before the workshop, he has 3 people. What does he do? He has trust and faith. He simply knows it'll be all right because he discerns. He goes within. Time for the workshop. He has 8 people. Trust and faith is very important, but how you view this is also very important. So this is going to be my recommendation to you, Christine. You are putting all of your energy around a number. It would probably be best that you put your energy around spirit. Make sure that the right people who need to be in this class will be in this class. I'm not telling you not to advertise, not to let people know that the class is coming. But you see, you are moving into an area of fear around lack. And by doing that, you are actually establishing the wrong energy for the class, which will end up tainting the energy that the people receive. This is no judgment. Do not take it that way. And I do not want you judging yourself for this either. Simply shift your focus from beginning to go into this fear mode around numbers to spirit. Make sure that all of the people that need to be in this class are in this class. You can't dictate to somebody else, because spirit will speak to the people that need to be in your class, and they will be like, it is up to them to say, yes, I will do this, or no, I won't. And if they don't, they will need to deal with that. And if they say yes, then they'll find that, oh, I'm so glad I said yes. Change your focus. And if your focus is on everyone that needs to be in the class will be there, and you simply have trust and faith in that, you will find that when you do the class, whether the class is full or not, when you finish the class and it's all finished and done, you will be amazed at how truly extraordinary and amazing the class was. That is simply my suggestion. Belinda, should you find a place to run your healing business from or continue to run it from home for now? Normally, I would not answer these types of questions, to be honest with you. However, in this particular case, I can tell you right now that in the moment I would stay where you are, because an opportunity will, the greatest potential in this moment is that an opportunity will come up in the future that will be just the way it needs to be, that will allow you to move into that space that you need moving forward. So in the moment, I would say simply be where you are in the moment. Margot, are the old souls that Cryon calls those present at and those that listen to, like yourself, when he and his partner are channeling, also starseeds and light workers? Yes, they are. Cryon is a very, very good friend of mine. I know Cryon very well. And those that he is referring to as old souls are starseeds, most definitely. They are not all light workers, but they are starseeds. Susan, healing is an interesting concept. If you wish to heal something that has occurred in your past between you and another, whether the another is a friend, a partner or a former partner, family member, it must start with forgiveness. It must include releasing, letting go. Each person has their own path to walk. Each person has their own beliefs. This one had no connection with his sister. His sister is part of the humanity of Earth. He most certainly is not. And I will put it this way. He knows a great deal about who he truly is, and yet if he knew what I knew about him, he probably would be so gobsmacked he wouldn't be able to speak for a week. So for all of you, you don't have all of the information, but if there is things in your past, to heal them, it starts with forgiveness. If you are talking about a physical issue or problem, pay attention to it. It might be something that you have chosen to experience. It might be something that your body is trying to tell you you need to change something with what you're doing in your life. It's about listening within. Marcia, you are feeling hot all the time. Some of it has to do with hormonal situations, but a great deal of it has to do with the fact that there are a number of blockages within your chakra systems, and they need to be looked at and taken care of. So Hal, what is the biggest difference between starseed contracts and human contracts? The concept of a contract in true reality is a humanism. It is a human phraseology and human concept. You don't actually have a contract being here. Let me explain. Feel the confusion around this. So let me explain. You purchase a vehicle, whatever it is. You have a contract that says you will pay back the money for that vehicle. You end up not paying it back. They come and they repossess your vehicle because you breached that contract. You have a contract with your employer. If you break that contract, that employer can fire you. Or if the employer fires you and they have breached that contract, you have done nothing wrong, you can then get money out of them for unfair dismissal, things like that. Those are contracts. When you incarnate upon this world, the way it works is very simple. It is not a contract. There are certain things that you wish to experience and do. So you put those things in. There are things that Spirit says, we need you to do this type of work, or whatever the case may be. So that's put in over here. And then you start looking at, okay, well, I've got these things that I want to do. There are these energies that I need to balance between different people. So I want to be in a situation where I can meet these different people. And then these are the things that I need to really focus on. Whatever that might be. For him, he's to be a teacher and a healer and teaching people all of these things and channeling and so on and so forth. So we've got that all in. And then we come, when we got everything put together, everything is there. Then we look at, okay, here are 3 options of parents. And they may be all in the same city, they may be in different cities. For this one, he had choices of 3 parents, one in Maine, one in Minnesota, and one in Los Angeles. Okay. They were all within the United States. Those were his 3 options. Now, in all 3 cases, technically speaking, there was one that had the greatest potential, that would provide him with everything he needs to do and experience, to the least. But each one of them would have given him what he needed to accomplish what he was here to do. He chose the parents in Los Angeles. Strangely enough, perhaps because of who he is and how his awakening has been through his life, since he was a little kid, he always had a dream to go to Minnesota and to Maine. Oddly enough, he still hasn't made it to either one of those places, but he still has hope to go to both of those places during this last incarnation of his. So you come down here and you live your life. Your life is complete, and you leave and you go back up and you go, okay, I accomplished all of these things and all of these things. I didn't get to these things. There's no judgment. There's no criticism. You haven't let the team down. You haven't let spirit down. You haven't even let yourself down. We are all very well aware of the fact that when you incarnate upon this world, even when you awaken to the extent that he is awakened, you're still here. There are still so much information and so much that you do not access, that you cannot access, that you don't have information on. So you're being asked to follow your heart and guidance. You're being asked to discern. You're being asked to trust your intuition. Why do you think we say it so much? But to answer your question, they are not the same. For the native human or the humanity of Earth, their focus is on their experience, on evolving, on learning, on being in balance, on finding and discovering the way that things work in true reality that assists them in continuing to move forward towards their own evolution and eventual ascension. I hope that that has answered your question. I'm going to have some fun. The door is knocked. One moment. Please take shoes off. Bottom of the stairs. To your right. Right. We are able to do whatever is needed. Paula, you are training to be an officer in the military. It can be a very negative environment. How can you help others positively with the highest good of all in the Army? As with any job on this planet, in what you term the mainstream, you have to abide by the rules and regulations that that company sets down. You have to do what your superiors tell you to do. In order to, in any job, whether it is in the Army or not, or if you are in any job, it is about living your life in integrity, being true to who you are. You are going into the military, I'm assuming, because you are wanting to be of service on a greater scale for your country, let us say. There is nothing wrong with that. I can assure you that within the militaries of this world, there are many starseeds, because they are beginning to assist in changing how things are happening and how things are going. You play the game. But you always have to remember to focus on your heart, to be in connection with your heart. And if you can do that, you will handle whatever situation comes up. Furthermore, please understand, just because if you go into the military, we will still be with you completely. Tina, is what I have been telling yourself, is what you have been telling yourself or believing in about your next step correct? You believe that your apartment that you are now in is only temporary. Are you full of BS or understanding what is next? I'm going to give you a piece of advice, and I would like everyone to listen to this very carefully. If I were you, I would not worry whether your apartment is temporary or not. That is inconsequential. For you, what you really need to do more than anything is to be in the moment. If you are focused on trying to figure out if you being in that apartment is temporary or not, you are not able to see what Spirit is giving you and what Spirit is doing for you. It is fine to plan for the future. It is fine to put those plans into action. But you have to remain focused in the now moment of time. That is my answer to you. What does your heart say, Hal? You say you feel like there is another way for you to help people other than Reiki. Reiki is simply a stepping stone for you. There is an opportunity. Perhaps you have not listened yet. It is very important to remember this. If you are asking this question, there is something else out there. And you never really know. It may be staring at you right now. Consider for a moment. Think about. I will encourage something to be said when I am finished here today. We will see if you pay attention and discern. Don't simply jump, but discern. Peter, you have lost inspiration and motivation towards your passion as you feel it has never been very supported or well received. And what can you do about this around music? My suggestion, Peter, is very simple. There is nothing wrong with taking a step back and reevaluating, discerning where you have been, doing a reflection. Where did you start with this journey? Where have you been? What have you experienced? What are the fundamental keys that you have learned? By stepping back and through the art of reflection, and you may need to do this several times, you'll begin to see a pattern form which will open a doorway, which will allow you to not only find that inspiration for your passion, but actually find a new avenue for it as well. That is simply my suggestion. Christy, we are sending healing your way. But what you need to do in this moment is simply to breathe. Part of the situation that is happening with you in the moment is fear. A fear of this happening and a fear of what is going on. Breathe and move yourself back fully into your heart. That would be the best way of going. Lorraine, you ask if you will find happiness again after losing your mother. I would like to give you a different perspective to think about. You have not lost your mother at all. I am checking with some ushers, if you will. Your mother is fully aware of the fact that how you would react to her passing. So she's made a decision. She is going to remain with you throughout the remainder of your life as one of your guides. She hasn't left you at all. She may not be with you physically, but if you open your heart, you will feel her. As far as your happiness goes, that is down to only one thing and one thing only: your choice. If you wish to be happy, you can be happy. I would recommend highly you choose well. Tatiana, you are most correct. The universe does indeed work in mysterious ways. It is time to complete this channeling at this time. I wish to thank all of you for your questions. I give unto you my love. Our support is with you. Our love is with you. I am Alsharon of the GodStar, in service to Source, to this earth, and to every star seed upon this earth. May you be blessed in every step you take. Toshia pa te heta moete ke ya torotomote.